Welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to talk about, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we have a lot to talk about. There was a Sea of News video that came out. There's a new contest in play for the month, and a new art book has now been listed on Amazon. All that and more in this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. But before I get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They're the ones that went over to patreon.com/Keelhauled Podcast to support this content, which has helped me get a new mic arm, which I absolutely love. It is also helping take care of the bills for the Photoshop and Adobe Suite that I use to do the YouTube videos, as well as what I'm recording right now, and just genuinely just help me out in life. So I appreciate it. It means the world to me, and I want to let everyone that is on the Keelhauled Patreon know that I appreciate them, and the way that I do that is not only through the Discord, but also through the guild, and also through the shoutouts on the episode. So I like to do this, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So thank you to A-Chick, Toast, L-Cute, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Jonky, Captain Longsharts, Chateau Noof, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cloud, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Davrim TV, El Jefe Esteban, Godhammer 6, Jorby Jorbs, J Hood, Carl Embo, Kylea the Aficionado, Lumpy SRQ, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Mutinous Max, Norwegian, Registella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Scamel 666, Captain Dasm, Tommy D, TN Professor, Wezzy Cruz, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, The Lore Chronologist, Deadeye Dre, Heger Owl, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore the Insipid Ghost, and Zam Wow. Thank you all so much. Actually, I'm going to double check real quick because I want to talk to, I want to make sure that I got Jeff H in here. And now that I'm looking at the list, I don't see... I'm going to filter something real quick because I got to make sure this is fine. Oh, I knew it. I knew it was in here. Okay, Jeff H. Thank you so much for your patronage as well. Again, I am going to be moving people around if people want. I need to go through and double check to make sure like the guilds are filled with folks that are supporting, since that is part of the access that I want to make sure folks have. So if you want in the guild, if you want to contribute, definitely let me know so that I can help kind of shift folks around, move inactives, or just remove folks that aren't part of the gold hoarders anymore. So that way we can get some space in for folks that want to start working on the commendation, or not the commendations, the guild levels, because I am looking at Keelhauled captains right now. We are 96 on guild distinction 1, working towards guild distinction 2. So definitely let me know if you want to jump in there and start working on the levels and stuff. First on the docket, let's talk about the Golden Scallywag Awards. This is a new contest that's going to be going on till the end of October, on October 31st, with announcements of the winners going to be happening on November 22nd. Now, you may be wondering what the heck is a Golden Scallywag Award, and it is just this. It is designed to try and get everyone out there in Sea of Thieves to come up with the most interesting, creative use of Sea of Thieves mechanics to plunder, pillage, deceive, disguise. They've got 8 different categories, and you may be wondering how these are going to be laid out. So they've got a devious disguise, a hilarious hider, scaring is caring, the snazziest steal, the trickiest trap, the perfect prank, the admirable ambush, and the guardian angel. Now, I'll get into those a little bit later, but I want to give you a heads up on what you could win, so that way you understand why you're going to be interested in this. So again, announcements on the 22nd of November of this year to let you know who's going to be winning. There are going to be a certain number of people who win, but let's go ahead and get into the actual prizes. So there are going to be, there's going to be one main prize for one person. The main prize is awarded to the entry which best meets the criteria and the essence of any award category out of the 8. The prize consists of 4,250 ancient coin, which is the glittering tribute of ancients, about $35. It is also going to give you the Sea of Thieves in-game entitlements to the plunder passes for season 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and season 19. That's right. 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. No, did I say 18 and 19? Each worth about $10. You're also going to get a physical trophy. Now think of this as like a Golden Globe or like an Oscar. You're going to get a physical golden trophy called the Golden Scallywag Award, worth about $400. You're also going to get an in-game entitlement, which is going to give you a Mischievous Trickster Award trophy. This is a trinket that you can place on your ship somewhere, wherever you want, as long as you have a captain ship, and an in-game title, the Mischievous Trickster. Now, this is the grand prize. There are also going to be 8 award category prizes, one for each category, awarded to each entry which best captures the essence of that category, using creativity, entertainment value, and the use of Sea of Thieves in-game mechanics. Each award category prize comprises of a physical trophy of the Golden Scallywag Award, worth about $400. It's also going to give you the in-game trophy that you can display on your ship, as well as the title. Now, there are going to be 50 third place prizes awarded to the next best entries, which capture the essence of a category using the aforementioned stuff. These will receive the in-game entitlement of the Mischievous Trickster title. So there's going to be 9 people who come away with the title and the trinket, as well as the actual trophy. One person out of those 9 is going to get the grand prize, which is going to be, or actually, no, I guess it'll be, yeah, one of the 9 is not the Kings of Men, but anyway, bad Lord of the Rings joke. They're going to come away with the trophy, the trinket, the title, $35 worth in ancient coin, and the 5 season passes, including season 14, which is on October 17th, by the way. So here are the description for the different ones. I think some of these you may be thinking to yourself, oh, well, you know, I'm probably not going to be able to have something that I clipped that will really work for this. And I think you'd actually be surprised. So the first category is the Devious Disguise, awarded to pirates who are the most effectively able to conceal their true appearance, whether that involves dressing up to deceive others, making use of the barrel disguise emote, or spying on other players. The key is achieving something without being spotted. The Hilarious Hider. They may know you're here, but finding you is another matter. Awarding to pirates who manage to sneak, dart, dash, tuck, or successfully evade your pursuers, all while whatever dirty deed you're undertaking is complete. Scaring is caring. It's Halloween season, so fright feels right. Whatever you use, whether you're using voice chat while hiding to haunt a ship, popping up unexpectedly while equipped with a horrifying curse, or lobbing a well-timed blunder bomb, your success will be measured in screams. Snazziest Steal. This is the 4th one. They have treasure, you want it. Maybe that means scoring the perfect harpoon hit to swipe loot out of a pirate's hands, lurking at a pirate fort to grab the stronghold key, or blowing a crew overboard with the Horn of Fair Winds before leisurely helping yourself to their stuff. The 5th category, Trickiest Trap. Let them play right into your hands. This award goes to pirates who use a combination of deceit and tools to cause others to enact their own demise. That could be a blade trap, a buried gunpowder barrel, or a room full of caged angry snakes. Good luck. Perfect Prank. This is the 6th one. Sometimes messing with someone's mind can be just as effective as a blunderbuss. Convince another pirate you're the official treasure inspector, move all of their loot into the crow's nest, make them believe you're part of the crew, or fill their barrels with burned bananas. Creativity is key. Admirable ambush. This is a seventh one. They never saw you coming. Perhaps it was the rowboat you used to ferry your crew onto their ship, or that perfect cannon shot which got you exactly in the place to drop their anchor and unleash bone collar chaos. Whatever works, works. Guardian Angel. Stealth doesn't have to be selfish. Provide treats instead of tricks by sneaking treasures aboard someone else's ship. Leave breadcrumb trails of shiny objects to guide players through a riddle or tall tale, or tuck aboard a ship, I should say, and lend a hand helping with repairs. Just don't give the game away. So that's it. Those are the 8 categories. Now I know most of you have done this. Here's the key. Because you know you can do this, you just have to clip it, upload it to one of the social medias that they're telling you to do so with the hashtag SoT Scallywags, SoT Scallywags, SCALLYWA. I should have read this somewhere instead of actually trying to remember how it spells. But SoT Scallywags, all one little bunch there, and you need to upload it to one of the sites on the social medias. So TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, or X, formerly known as Twitter, are the 4 places you can do this. It doesn't matter where you do it on those platforms or when you do it. It just has to be between October 2nd and October 31st. Those are the rules, and that's UTC time, so like 11:59 p.m. UTC time, which is going to give United States a little bit more time after, or a little less time, I think, as a result of that, because we're further back in time. So they'll hit it sooner before we do. I think it's really cool. I like the fact that they're doing this. I know I was sailing with a chick a little bit ago, and she was sailing by a duo sloop who were working on offloading a Fort of the Damned. And she just sailed through. She just sailed right by between the ship and the dock where the dudes were just offloading stuff. She used the harpoon to grab like 2 or 3 items, and the dude sitting there holding a chest was looking at her do this as her boat rammed into the other boat. Meanwhile, I'm watching the stream on Discord just being like, I can't believe this is happening. I also hate the fact that I'm at work right now. And she harpoons the chest out of the dude's hands, and he just stands there and turns as he slowly watches her boat sail off with his loot, just trying to comprehend what the hell just happened. Because from their perspective, they're just offloading a fort and dropping it off, and his buddy who's AFK is going to come back and start harpooning it back on boat. And now a boat is just sailing by and harpooning stuff off of the dock and out of the dude's hands. I wish I could have clipped it. I wish she had clipped it, because it was hilarious to watch. And I was just like, they didn't realize what was going on. I still don't think they understand what's going on. I want to log on so I can come and help sync them so that we can then get that loot, because that was pretty hilarious. So I know y'all have done something like this. I know you've had fun with it. Now you just have to get a clip of it, dig it up, find it in OneDrive, check your folders for video clips, your captures, your Windows Alt G shortcut commands. Like, find it and make sure that you upload it so you have a chance at one of these grand prizes or one of these prizes. 50 of you are going to be able to get just the title alone to be able to have that very rare title. So get out there, have fun. Definitely share what you find in the Discord. If you like your entry and you want others to like it, obviously they're going to they're going to judge what they think is the best from the 31st to the 22nd when they finally announce the winners. But I love the idea of kind of sharing that in the Discord as well too. All right, so we're going to be getting more videos that actually go into detail about this. And obviously, season 14 is hot on the heels of tonight's episode. So we are going to be getting all of the information in the next 9 days, if not in 10 days. But generally, I would say that we're in for a treat. Season 14 looks to do a lot with the existing world and franchise. That kind of pulls it into a different style of gameplay that we originally didn't have. And what I mean by that is we're finally going to be able to tuck and like crouch under certain areas where normally our heads would just get stuck. And I'm just really looking forward to that, because there's certain parts of forts that honestly, I just feel like I should be able to duck under. Certain types of fabric that the Order of Souls has on their little abodes, that if it were just a normal, piece of fabric, I could just walk underneath of it. Now I can. And I'm very grateful for that. And maybe I can get up those stairs in the tavern finally. I don't know. It's hard to know. But season 14 is going to be making mischief is kind of the tagline that they've come up with for this season. Love that they are leaning into this. I'll be very curious to see how people feel about that, especially given some of the information that we got teased a little bit last week when they put out a video of telling you to eat responsibly. That shows like a little dragon fruit cooking on a pan. I was kind of surprised by this. I genuinely want to know more about what this means for the game and what it will do as far as boarding attempts, because I'm thinking about this in hindsight, how most of the time the way they show it is that you're going to be hiding your mermaid if you cook and eat it. I'm assuming that it will be one of those things that you can hide your mermaid for a certain amount of time. How that is displayed definitely needs to be shown as a UI element. You need to be able to see that. Don't know if it's 1 byte, if it's 2 bytes, have yet to know that kind of information, so we'll have to find out more in the upcoming previews for season 14. But I think this is really going to be awesome for ships that are chasing you and you want to do a dual board. Say you have a couple dragon fruit, or say that one piece of dragon fruit is 2 bytes. You can take a bite, you can hand the fruit to your crewmate, they can take a bite, so your mermaid goes away for a certain amount of time. So if you want to jump off the side of the boat and get a sneaky board, then you're less likely to be revealed because of your mermaid. And I think that is where this is going to really come in handy. Not so much, if you're on an island and you're trying to hide from someone, because who knows how long it takes for people to do stuff when it comes to that kind of sneakiness, and you got to be really careful about it. Now, granted, the flare on a mermaid is only visible to your crew and yourself, so people really do have to kind of keep their eye out for mermaids regardless, if it's just a mermaid. But taking the mermaid away has always been something that a lot of people have asked for in Sea of Thieves, ever since tucking on skeleton forts became a thing, because they wanted to hide to prevent other people from knowing that they're there, so they can try and steal the stronghold key or something like that. That's the Athena chest for Fort of the Damned, things like that. And I think that this is going to really change how you have to pay attention to things going on in Sea of Thieves. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot more coming this coming week, most likely, to tell us more about what the game has in store for us in the meta. Things that I wanted to get you guys aware of that are time sensitive. As always, I like to do the time sensitive stuff at the beginning, because that's predominantly when most people are actually listening to the podcast. So season 14 kicking off October 17th is roughly, 10 days away, pretty much, as the time we're recording. We are going to have a Gilded Voyages event starting from October 10th through the 17th. That's going to bring back all of the Gilded Voyages for all of the major trading companies. So if it has a voyage, you're going to be able to get a Gilded Voyage for it. So Gold Hoarders, Order of Souls, Merchant Alliance, Athena's Fortune, you'll be able to get all of those. They're most likely going to be in the map table, or not the map table, the captain's table system, the UI. Sorry, Cora, for some reason, I did laundry today. Cora, for some reason, decided that she wants to climb underneath my mattress topper, which is like one of those memory foam toppers that you put on the cheapy beds. She's having a day of it. Anyway, so we're getting back Gilded Voyages. Very happy about that. Always like these. It's a good way to get kingly treasure, which is at the moment, I think, a very, very rough thing to try and get your way through. Looking at the treasures of adventure commendations, I am currently grade 4 with 320 out of 500, which is out of 1,000 total. I think sell treasure that you or another pirate earned from the completing trading company voyages. I'm at 912 of 1,000 on that. So I still have a lot of kingly treasure to turn in. So I kid you not, when I get onto an island, and in the last 2 months of playing, I've gotten 4 ancient skeletons, which have all been over 100 ancient coins. I have gotten so many kingly treasures from the stupid messages in a bottle that I think people genuinely do not really think about. One of the other things too, I've been noticing the little book voyages that are in and about like islands as you're just kind of like roaming around. It's like, hey, there's a mysterious book. Do you want to read it? And you're like, yes, I like the Evil Undead or the Evil Dead series. I would happily open this the bad book for the sake of getting a voyage. Yes, I will take that. And you open it up, lo and behold, I think this is where most of those deliver crates on time kind of voyages is, like the hey, go and get a gunpowder barrel and bring it to this person on time. Hey, do you have wood crates that you bought at another outpost? Go and take one of those that you did not purchase and bring it to this other person at that outpost. That's where I think a lot of these voyages have actually come from or gone at this point. Now she's messing with the blinds. I have a very rambunctious little kitty right now, and it is disrupting my my attention to be able to podcast this. So Gilded Voyages coming back from the 10th through to the 17th. Make sure that you jump in, try and get those done, because it's only going to be available for a week. For those of you who do not have all the time in the world, I highly recommend you pick the one that you are the most behind in on your ledgers, if you are, and focus on that one, or the one that you're most currently working towards the distinctions for the rings. So like Davram over at Pirate Talk Radio, obviously very obsessed with the Order of Souls rings, working on the grade 5 distinction for that. I am going to have to put a little straitjacket, a tiny little kitty-sized straitjacket on this little boo-boo, because she is going wild and trying to get underneath my bed. BRB. My apologies. She is being a menace to society while drinking her juice in the hood. Getting back to what I was talking about. Time limited things that you need to be aware of. Twitch drops are coming back on the 17th through the 21st. This time it's going to be the Seasoned Sailor Pistol. I don't know if I'm laughing on the inside or crying on the inside, but at least it's not one of the other sets that we've been having for so very long. Otherwise, we're getting the Sage Seadog shovel and drum. So if you want to feel like a Sage Seadog, you can now do so with a drum and a shovel. Both instruments of destruction, either to your ears or to someone's face or the dirt. But hopefully you're enjoying those, as well as the Seasoned Sailor Pistol, which I'm pretty sure it's crying on the inside. I just want, where's the Gothic stuff? There was a Sea of Thieves shot contest that was like, show your best Gothic. And I was like, I wish I remembered that I needed to do this, because I am that on Sea of Thieves. So I want to know where that cosmetic set is, Rare. I look through the art book from time to time. It's beautiful. I also forget that I've gotten more signatures from developers on there from Sea of Thieves Fest than the number of developers that originally signed it when I bought the signed version. So now it's all just kind of blurring in my mind how many signed things I have that also takes me back. By the way, hey, okay, Twitch drop's done. You guys know, 17th through the 21st. Make sure to watch, people. It's 3 items, so 3 hours. No special community weekend bonus thing on this one. It's literally just a sailor pistol and a couple shovels and drums that you can beat in one form or the other. Sorry, I just found a Korok. Okay. Phone is silenced. Koroks have been found and turned in for extra inventory space. Let's actually get back to the podcast. So Sea of Thieves is releasing a new art book. Now, unfortunately, this one isn't one that is signed. Unfortunately, RIP. But I was able to find that this is one that is sanctioned by Rare. Chris Alcock is doing the actual writing in it. It is going to have art from different people at Rare, which is nice. This is going to have a wealth of material, new material, including 100 pieces of art with commentary from the game's creators. The little blurb here says that be more pirate, ! Immerse yourself in a fantastical pirate world of Sea of Thieves in this lavishly illustrated guide to a hugely popular adventure game. Explore the evolution of the game since its release through stunning full-color illustrations and previously unpublished concept art. Ooh. Enjoy a wealth of new material, including characters, pets, ships, weapons, clothing, and equipment, enemies such as ashen lords and ocean crawlers, and featuring exotic locations and special adventures such as tall tales. Showcasing hundreds of pieces of art with commentary from the game's creators, this gorgeous volume is a must-have for anyone interested in video game art and essential for all Sea of Thieves fans. This is releasing, I kid you not, May 20th, 2025. This is a hard copy book. I am looking forward to it going alongside my current Sea of Thieves art book, which is always reminding me there are goth concept designs for cosmetics in the game that are not in the game. I even went through it and took a look. There are animals that we will most likely see in the game through a Hunter's Call update before I get these gothic clothing sets. Now, I am very happy to know that they are at least concepts and that there's a good possibility that they may eventually come to the game in the next 6 years. I just want to know when and how much, because that's really what it comes down to. That's all I really care about. I just want to understand how much and when. But until then, I will happily spend the $44.99 American US dollaroos to buy this art book that is coming out May 20th, 2025. I will still be living in California at the time, so I'm not too worried about that. So that is on over at Amazon. Again, that is Sea of Thieves, The Art of Piracy. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm even going to take the link that I have for this for America, by the way. Region is going to vary because I don't have access to Amazon UK or CA or Mexico or, I don't know, France. Who else? What other? Germany, DE. Yeah. I don't have your links. I apologize, but I have the name and I have a link to the American one. So you can always take a look and find it in your own regional based Amazon and hopefully have it pre-ordered as well for something akin to $44.99 of American US dollaroos for y'all. That's it. No, I take that back. God, that's not it as far as like time sensitive stuff. The soundtrack, the vinyl, the Sea of Thieves vinyl 3 album or 3 LP vinyl set is back up on I Am 8-Bit. That is the website. I Am 8-Bit. 8 is in like the actual numeral, not spelled out 8. It is exceptional. It's genuinely like one of my favorite pieces of Sea of Thieves merchandise. The controller, the art book, and the vinyls, hands down some of the coolest stuff that I've ever bought from Rare themselves or like Microsoft, aside from the cool stuff that I have that's actually like made by the community. That is like one of the most awesome like official things I've ever purchased from them. So that is still up on I Am 8-Bit as far as I've can tell. So if you're looking for those, I think they're like $100 for the 3 vinyls. pretty good. Honestly, most vinyls somewhere in the neighborhood of like $20 in my experience, 40 if you're looking for something that actually is like a good press. And I've listened to them, and I will say that they are good quality presses. So if you're looking forward to having the music as like a hard copy, CDs don't exist. MP3 is generally how we do a lot of our content nowadays. This is a nice way to have that kind of commemorated in a way that is century old, maybe. I don't know. How long have vinyls been around? What were they making vinyls out of back in the day? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna look it up real quick. How old is vinyl? Not Vanilla Ice. They really wanted me to know how old is Vanilla Ice. Dating back to 1877. So we're going on over 100 years of technology. I'm pretty sure there are still going to be some folks out there that will continue to keep vinyl alive. I know Craig Duncan has a very nice metal vinyl record collection. I'm very envious of his vinyl record collection and his displays. He has very nice displays for it as well, too. Little wall hangers. Getting off topic. Sea of Thieves vinyls available. Head over to IM8bit for $100 and scoop up yourself some plastic that will most definitely outlive you. So I think at that point you could probably pass it on to your children, or I don't know, someone else. Your pets. Go with pets, or you know, owners of the pets that are going to be taking over when you pass away and they find, never mind, I shouldn't get that. And anyway, go and get the vinyls if you can. All right, let's get into the meat of this video. This was a 9-minute video. I imagine it will probably take me at least 30 minutes to go through all of it, so I can think about it and comprehend it, but already I am really interested to find out more about how season 9 or season 14 is going to look, and more importantly, how it's actually going to work. Right now, the game feels a little more rocky in some cases, not nearly as rocky as it has been. I've definitely seen the game in worse states, but you know, there's definitely some concerns that I think a lot of us have had about some of the stability. I think tonight was the night where I kind of felt like there was a little bit more rubber banding. Could have been anecdotal though, but overall I've been having a good enough time on Sea of Thieves where I'm not frustrated to the point where I don't want to play the game, because I think the game is fighting me when it comes to stability. So that's a plus. Definitely run into some weird things when fighting other players. Now, I can't really explain how or why, but definitely some weird stuff going on. I think people are playing around with hacks a little bit more than I would prefer they do, but you know, I can't control that. I can only control myself, and even then, not when there's Oreos around. But in this video, there were a few things that they showed off but didn't really talk about that I'm really interested to learning more in how these operate. Because I think a lot of us have run into situations where, as we've been getting used to, I can't remember which season it was where they introduced the sit function, but there are interaction points on a ship that most people, I would say, kind of the more hardcore, will generally turn those off for removing accidental inputs. And honestly, I think a lot of people accept the Briggsy quest because during the heat of a battle on a sloop, it is far too easy to run trying to grab the cannon, and you accidentally activate the script for accepting the Briggsy voyage. So I know a lot of folks that genuinely prefer to remove as many interactive points as possible on the ship that are non-essential to combat, just for ease of use. Now, looking at this video, there's one point that I actually was really kind of surprised by, because I wasn't expecting this, and I'm curious to know how this is going to work or look on other ships outside of a galleon, because I think a lot of the making mischief season is geared towards attacking or doing stuff to galleons. It seemed like galleons were kind of getting picked on a little bit here, and I think the justification is a fourth person. But wood to wood, I would argue that the brig has the best opportunity. Now, I know a lot of people are going to tell me that the brig is in terrible shape right now after the speed changes and stuff. And to be perfectly honest, I never thought the brig was all that great outside of the speed. But what I will say is that I think wood to wood, ship to ship, player to player account, the galleon has the worst of it. Far too often I've seen unexperienced players jumping into a galleon to try and ease the experience, because more players means more opportunity for others to be able to help pick up the slack for those that aren't as skilled. Whereas I think if you were to stick an unskilled person onto a sloop with a skilled person, you would have a better chance of success through endeavors, because one person can handle a sloop far easier than two good pirates and two mediocre pirates on a galleon. That is just my opinion. I will argue that that's just how I feel. Some people will tell me I'm crazy, and that's totally fine, because it's all based on experience, and it's really hard to narrow down skill when it comes to being objectively like discerning when it comes to the situation. So looking at season 14 and how much they are actually picking on galleons, I can't help but think that they really do want players to go after galleons and not feel so scared, I guess, of them, or that more will happen because you're going after a galleon. But to get to the point, they showed a pirate hanging off the outer edge of the railing on a galleon, and I have to say that is kind of awesome. Because I don't think, and it really does depend on how that's going to look, if people are going to be paying attention or not. Because I think it's going to be really easy for pirates to get up onto the aft castle, which is the back, like towards the back mast of a galleon, and to be able to hide on the back of that, where it's far less likely that people are going to be wandering around back there, and even far less likely that anyone's going to be able to see you, because it's the highest point of the ship, which means that no one from the helm is going to notice someone on the side of the actual ship, looking down at where like the cannons are and stuff. So really going to depend on players and how experienced they are, and how good other players are at noticing stuff. Obviously, it's all going to come down to skill at the end of the day. But I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out. Being able to hang off the side of a ship is going to offer up the opportunity for players to not have to rely so much on the barrel hide emote or tucking in a specific location. They're going to be able to like actually kind of hide on the side of a ship and not be visible from like just looking from the inside of the walls of the ship or the railing outward. Now, I don't know how good this is going to work. If it's specific points, if it's any point, not quite sure, but it is something that's possible, which means that if it's anywhere, then pirates are going to find creative ways to figure out how to break this so that it's much harder to be detected. If it's specific points, then it will quickly get workshopped if it hasn't already on Insiders, and people will know the locations of where you can do this. And anytime they suspect a person hiding on their ship, they will just run around and check those spots, much like when somebody finds a new tuck location on a boat or something. People will go and watch streamers as they use this or discover it, and then that information will disseminate across the community through videos or discussion, secondhand knowledge, things like that. So very interested to kind of find out like more about what is actually going on with that and just how well it's going to work. Obviously, we'll kind of know more going in to season 14. So I've been noticing around at least a couple islands for the next topic. I've noticed a couple islands that have had bear traps on them. I don't know what Rare plans on calling these. I just know that they're called bear traps. But they're 2 teeth clamps that are spring loaded. And when you step on the little trigger point in the middle, the spring releases, the 2 teeth or 2 sides of the teeth clamp down around the ankle of the person that stepped on it, effectively locking them in place. This is something that is, I think, what Drew referred to as the first non-weapon tool in the Armory. Now, I don't know for sure if that's what this is. Maybe they're talking about the Blowdart, which I'll go into as well. But I'm very interested in finding out more about this, because this is kind of falling in line with the traps. Now, this is something that we've seen in game, at least on these 2 islands that I've noticed. I'm sure there's probably a couple more out there. I just haven't stumbled upon them yet. But over on Seadog's Rest in the Shores of Plenty, and over on Isle of Last Words in the Wilds, I haven't found the I actually should go looking for it, but I haven't found the one in the wilds. I imagine there probably is one in the wilds. And it has a leg or skeleton leg sticking in a sprung bear trap. And now we know this is something you're going to be able to get, and it's something that you're going to be able to throw down on the ground. I am very curious to find out how this is going to work, because it is a very noticeable thing. And much like the pressure sensor triggers in some of the traps around the world on the islands and in the tall tales, this is something that will fall in line with that style of game mechanic. I don't know how long it's going to last, or how much you're going to be restricted. Like, are you going to be restricted in the sense that you can't turn and you're stuck there for a couple seconds? Are you going to have to reach down and actually like pry it open with your hands if you accidentally step in it? And if so, what's the interaction like for that? Is it like a reduce to hold kind of like press as the circle fills kind of thing? Very curious to understand how this tool is going to change the landscape, because I think that's going to be something that, while they put it and I always go back to PvP on this one, they put it in and amongst a pile of treasure. I don't know why you would try to bait someone in with treasure like that. But what I do see this as a way to guard ladders. Throwing these down onto the top of a ladder will effectively prevent someone from being able to board, because they will have to go up to the top of the ladder and then immediately step in this trap. I don't know if this is something that they've tested on insiders. I'd be very curious to find out afterwards if this is something they already knew about. Knowing that this is a thing is really kind of cool, because I could very easily see this being something that you could use. Now, I don't know if this is something that is going to be friendly fire enabled, where a crewmate could step on it and accidentally trap it or trip it. Yeah, trip it. Or if this is something that is going to be crew agnostic with friendly fire turned off, so you don't accidentally set it off by running around on top deck, and it'll only affect Alliance or enemy crew members. Which, if that's the case, I could see a lot of these going right around the capstan or at the top of ladders. So I like this idea. I think it's going to be a good tool to help smaller crews prevent players from being able to get on their ship so easily. Now that we have the grapple gun, which we'll talk about that in a bit as well too. I like the possibility of this. I also want to know if this is something that can be utilized against PvE. Now, I'm not expecting you to be throwing out bear traps to catch a shrouded ghost. Hear me out. I think this would be great in instances where you are working towards a commendation, or even just doing raid voyages, and you want to use cannons against, say, an Ashen Lord. Well, the Ashen Lord's kind of finicky, and the AI tends to pick whatever, whenever it wants when it comes to hurling fireballs at you. And one of the other problems that happens is it likes to lunge. Well, wouldn't it be nice if there was a tool in the game that locked PvE down for significantly longer than a player, for obvious reasons, and hopefully, hopefully there's diminishing returns on these when it comes to players, because if you can just chain lock people into a trap without some sort of diminishing returns, that's going to be a really bad day for someone who's got people around them who have traps and can just throw those down and just troll others. So I think after 3 traps, subsequent traps would be a healthy enough amount of time for someone to either kill someone else or not. But I think 3 traps should be like the diminishing returns. Once you hit the 4th trap, it's maybe like a quarter of a second delay before you can get out of it, or how. Unfortunately, I don't know how it works, so I don't know if there's you have to physically get out of it and you can get out of it faster if you mash a button or something like that, or if it's just you are stuck in place for X amount of time, insert variable here. So depending on how it works, I could see that this could be very trolly, at which point I would say like, okay, there need to be diminishing returns or ways to address like how people can keep from being locked in place for too long. Stun locked, very big issue in World of Warcraft, where stun is a very large mechanic in PvP, preventing others from being able to do anything with their body, causing inability to move with your character. Can be very frustrating, especially as someone who's played lots and lots of World of Warcraft. I do not like stuns. I do not like roots. They are all things that annoy me because I like to be able to move with my character. And when I can't do that because of someone else, I get a little frustrated. And, obviously don't when I'm doing it to others, because it's enabling me to win at a better rate. All right. Blowdarts. Let's talk about Blowdarts. This was something that got announced in the kind of like beginning of the year trailer, when they introduced a lot of the things that they want to bring to the game, as they were talking about their roadmap for 2024, which I'm going to be real freaking honest right now. And I want you guys to really take this into consideration. That preview event for 2024 was not only amazing coming from the team, but they have done an excellent job of sticking to that. I don't know if it's because they've gotten rid of Tall Tales, they've stopped doing adventures, whatever it has been, they have managed to really stick to this quarterly cadence with the seasons. Like, seasons haven't been delayed. There was a time where there was a little bonus time on the season pass, and we were kind of looking at that, but it ended up launching at the time that it needed to. It hit the 3-month timer. It was always on time, and the content has been pretty fun. Not gonna lie, still love my throwing knives. Still wish I had better looking throwing knives that I didn't have to buy from the Emporium, but I'm gonna be real honest, man. Like, this has been a pretty good year for Sea of Thieves as far as content and sticking to schedule. Now, I'm gonna always be like, okay, game's not perfect. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Devs are always stomping out fires as their tail turned, like as they turn, like their tail coats end up putting on more fires. Award-winning game, love it. Definitely has issues with the bugs. Now that I'm seeing Halo, 343 Studios rebrand themselves to the Halo Studios, and they're working on bringing Halo to Unreal Engine 5. Lot of big pushes for studios to start using Unreal Engine 5 as a way to develop their game. Maybe now's a good time. Let's remake Sea of Thieves. Let's just reboot this baby. We will see if Joe has good enough cause to start making a team, putting a team together to start developing the Unreal Engine 5 version of Sea of Thieves. What they could do with Lumen, what they could do with the geometry based, the tessellation there, what they could do with the streaming data improvements to server to client data streams, like packet management, asset management, global illumination, ray tracing on Sea. Can you imagine ray traced shadows in Sea of Thieves? It would look so good. The lighting in this game is stellar. The water is stellar. I can't imagine you could really do ray traced reflections in this. They've got screen space reflections already. Tricks that they're able to use, but just the possibility of it is so, it's so mouth-watering that I can't even remember what the original point of this conversation was. I'm now solely sold on the idea of Unreal Engine 5. fixing a lot of the pain struggles that Rare has with this. We're talking about Blowdarts. How did I get on game stability from whatever? Doesn't. Oh, cadence. We were talking about cadence. That's right. So Sea of Thieves, great job on cadence. We saw Blowdarts. They talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the year. It's been mum since then. I think the grapple gun was the kind of like the showcase aspect of it. And honestly, we'll have our discussion on that in a bit. But Blowdarts are coming. This looks to be a non-lethal weapon or a non-lethal tool that can be used in some cases. Obviously, when I think of Blowdart, I go to like Ghost of Tsushima. I go to like games where I've got a sleep dart or like an enraging dart, and it is purely a tool for me to put asleep people, which I think would be hilarious in Sea of Thieves. Especially very trolly if you can use it on other people, and something that will cause confusion on PvE. So imagine you're, at a skeleton fort, skeleton lord pops up, and you start using a blow dart on him or her or it. That confuses it, and it starts smacking the bejesus out of the skeleton captains that are following its orders, and they are now wondering why they're getting reprimanded and have to take into consideration this action with HR as their quarterly review comes up, while you're sitting there with a blow dart, putting it behind your back like, I didn't see what happened. This is a travesty. This is going to really hurt their reputation. I hope they don't get canceled or, sent back to the dead. But blow darts, very interesting. They showed a couple different ammo. Oh no, they showed one type of ammo. I'm assuming... Big assumption on my part here. I'm assuming there's going to be more than just one use. That is also how I don't know how that's actually going to work. So maybe they aren't. Maybe because we don't have ammo types in the game. If that's ever going to be a thing, I don't know. But we haven't really figured out where we don't know. I guess it would be like a bait thing. I guess. I don't know. I don't know how they plan on doing this. They could do it like a bait system where you have like the blow dart, and you right click, and instead of picking like 3 different types of baits, you could pick out like 3 different types of darts, where one could be the little explodey firecracker one that they showed off that kind of like displace. It's kind of like a mini blunder bomb that has like a better, straighter range. They could do a sleepy one, which would be funny. And they could do a confusion one for like PvE. I could see that. Like 3 ammo types. That makes sense. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm very curious to find out. We'll probably find out in the next week. I really want to know, but I don't want to go to the hassle of having to download insiders right now. Mostly just because it's already getting late and I'm already looking at the clock like, no, I need to wrap this up. This episode's already starting to go a little long here. So blow dart, very interesting. They showed off the explodey ones on the dock. I think that'll be a good way to get people away from the top of ladders when it comes to being on like the boarding thing, which kind of brings me to Drew's segment. I want to talk about the cosmetics maybe another time or later in this episode if we have time. But speaking of weapons, I think now's a good way to go into Drew's conversation where he talked about some of the different things that are actually going to be happening with just the weapons in general. The Armory, not the ammo crate, but the Armory is how you access your weapons in your loadout. That is now going to be locked on cruise ships for just the crew that is captaining the ship. So it is no longer going to be something that anyone has access to, which, to be perfectly honest, is kind of something that I think a lot of folks are kind of blowing out of proportion. I totally understand the reasoning why you would want to do that, because there are plenty of times where I will want to take an Eye of Reach and a sword when I'm going to board. As soon as I get on board, if I can get a shot off on one person and then swipe, that will be good. If it starts to get close quarters, I usually want to get a blunderbuss and my sword, or like throwing knives and a sword. But if I'm no longer able to make that call, if I'm no longer able to be able to choose or change those using some other crew's armory, I'm going to have to make some really hard choices about how boarding is going to change in the future of the game, because I'm going to be stuck with whatever I have until I die, which means the most powerful weapons are not necessarily going to be the best weapons. You know what I mean? You're going to want to pick something that is going to be versatile. A throwing knife is versatile. Not only is it long ranged and have the damage of a flintlock pistol, it also has a heavy stab and a standard stab. And you can pick up ammo from where you dropped it, which means that it's going to be something that I think a lot of people maybe look to use in conjunction with the grapple gun, because the grapple gun will ensure that you get the board. Well, it won't ensure that you get the board. It'll up the probability that you'll be able to get to board a ship, in which case, if you are, I don't know how that works. I don't know if you're able to grapple to different points on the ship once you're actually on it. If you can, that kind of changes the game, because then you can kind of like, you know, grapple around a boat to as like your form of traversal, like getting away from players and stuff. But that doesn't necessarily take into account what they said, which is effectively they've made the decision that while everything on the video that they showed earlier was cool looking, it's not very well balanced. So you're not going to be able to board another crew's boat from the water using the grapple gun. You're going to have to use it to effectively get to the ladder so that you can climb up the ladder. And it's not going to be something that is very effective for people boarding a sloop or a brigantine. You're especially not going to be able to grapple down onto the top of a deck from up above, whether you're in a crow's nest or if you're flying above the ship from like a cannon shot. You're not going to be able to like grapple down to it. This is something that they said was a traversal tool, so I imagine a lot of people are going to end up using it for PvE. Maybe people will actually have like the cojones to try and actually use stuff on Old Faithful. I know it sounds scary. I said the bad word. It's the spooky time of year and you're a little scared of Old Faithful. Maybe the grapple gun is the thing that you want. Maybe we try doing a couple voyages, a couple dig spots on Old Faithful. What do you think? You know, stretch yourself a little bit, put yourself out there, try something new, cut your hair, dye it, get some new clothes, do some voyages on Old Faithful. What do you think? You know, new maps, new grapple. Never gonna get y'all to actually like that island. Yeah, y'all praise Crook's Hollow or Crooked Mass. Like Crooked Mass is all that great, except for people that actually been there. Don't worry, it's fine. I'm fine. I'm not holding a grudge. I'm letting it go. I'm releasing my trauma. I think that the changes to the Armory are going to be good for the game. It's going to prevent boarders from having so much power. It's going to rely really on how you manage your meta. In the full sense of the phrase, like managing your meta is going to be essential. You're going to have to figure out how to board a ship, stay alive, which is key. When to eat, when not to eat, when to defend, when to attack, when to run, how to get back off the boat, how to get back on it. You're going to have to really kind of focus a lot on how good are you at PvP and if there are areas that you need to grow, because I think that's going to be a big thing for a lot of folks. Because most of the time, most of us, we're just happy to get a board. And if we can get a board and we can actually go over to the anchor and hit the anchor, that's even better. And if the anchor actually goes down, if you actually have the anchor stop the boat, for a lot of us, that just made our night. That just made our night. Everything else is a gravy train because their anchor's down. And if that's a galleon, good luck. Because no amount of bone collars is going to have those boys jump on that anchor and raise it for you. You're going to have to get all of your little friends who probably have shot off trying to board it, thinking that they are Superman and they can handle the Call of Duty multiplayer lobby and they're going to stop that sloop. You're going to have to call them back and tell them get on the anchor, because some fool managed to get aboard the ship and drop it. And Jake over there was not paying attention. He was too busy getting one more cannon shot off. So I think the meta for boarding is going to change a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these new tools go into play. Having the Armory change is going to be painful at first. Anticipate that. Understand that you're not going to have all those tools accessible, bring some blunder bombs, bring some fire, bring some bone collars. Plan for that. There are other tools that you can use without relying necessarily on being able to swap your weapons, and pick weapons that you're comfortable with, not weapons that are necessarily the meta, because you're always going to be better with the ones that you've used the most, and those are the ones that are probably going to be getting kills, even if they're not the strongest, if you know what I mean. Outside of that, I'm trying to think what else I did. I talked about the harpoon, or the grapple gun, not being able to board from up high down onto a deck. You haven't been able to do that. It'll mostly be realigning yourself with a boat, which I don't know what that means. I don't genuinely know what that means. But you'll be able to grab the ladder. There's one phrase in this video that Drew talked about that actually kind of made me curious. He said that there are going to be new avenues, and maybe I'm paraphrasing here, so please don't quote me on this. Feel free to jump to the video where you can actually check the quote. There's going to be new avenues for players to get aboard a galleon. And after playing with the Burning Blade and seeing there are 4 ladders available, I'm very curious to understand what they mean by that. Are they adding new ways to get aboard the galleon? Are they going to add more ladders, or is this going to be something where you can get onto the back of the balcony behind the captain's cabin on a galleon? I really want to know like how that's actually going to play out. So we'll just have to wait and see, obviously, till beginning of season 14. Looking at my list here, some other things that they wanted to stress. There are 3 points that they want to make sure the players are aware that they are focusing on currently with the teams that they have addressing some of the issues with the game. Anti-cheat. Easy anti-cheat is helping them with hacks. There is a dedicated team working on the cheats that appear as they appear to try and ensure that they are squashing those as quickly as possible. They are now creating auto ban system, which has a detection for ships teleporting, trident manipulation, and flying players. All of those things scare me more than spiders. Player safety is also a big part of what they're looking at. They're working to progress with their security team in efforts to reduce bad interactions. The way they're doing this is by improving the profanity filter through the chat system, as well as helping prevent stream sniping for streamers who are trying to stream the game, as well as chat bans for people who abuse the chat system to spam messages. Be very interested to find out like how they're going about this. I saw some people who were able to do workarounds to kind of spam stuff, but it's slightly altering the text in minor ways to still get that actual like thing to pass the spam filter aspect of the game. So curious to see if they will be addressing that as well. The other part of this thing that Drew talked about was game performance. They want to work on optimizing how ships are loading into servers in the systems that they built in when they brought in diving to locations, as well as hourglass. Updates are not quite hitting the quality bar that they are expecting. Obviously, I think a lot of us realized that there were some very serious bugs that came in with the last update at the end of September, and that those caused hotfixes to go out. Anything that causes a hotfix to go out, honestly, in my opinion, needs to have like a kind of all hands on deck meeting with the teams, the development teams, and being like, how did these not get tested or caught? Why were they green? What can they do to do a better broad scope of testing? As far as I know, the testing team over at Rare is not huge. The QA team is not a huge team right now. So I think a lot of that is them having to rely on insiders for data and feedback. And to be perfectly honest, you're asking for free feedback at that point. You're asking for like goodwill people coming in to try and actually tell you what's going on with the game. When you take the reward away from insiders, which I know, I understand, it's development time, but it's also free QA. You have to reward your players somehow. And unfortunately, unless there's a carrot on the stick, most people probably won't jump into insiders for two reasons. One, they're not getting anything out of it because sometimes the information they provide is not heeded, which is part of the thing that Drew wanted to address, is that they're looking to improve the flow of information on insiders, which is great because right now it's literally forum fires that are going on in the insiders. I think I've dipped into the insiders forums maybe 3 times in the last, what is this, October, 10 months at least, from the beginning of the year. Each time I've done it, I can tell you the reason I went in there was because they were showing something, or they were talking about a hot topic discussion that someone shared with me that I wanted to go like take a look at. And even then, most of the time it was people saying like, this is what's wrong, this is what's going on, I hate this. And it never feels constructive. I've rarely seen people be actually constructive or considerate on those forums. Anecdotal evidence can't prove otherwise at the moment, but that's just my experience, so take it with a grain of salt. Oh, and to go along with this, I actually forgot to mention that they are going to be looking how they change up their release cycle. So I feel like at the moment, like we haven't gotten any tall tales. We haven't gotten any mysteries. We've got some teases with some of the books, kind of talking a little bit more about like Blowdarts, I believe. Things like that are going to be coming to the game as far as like a meta change. I think they are looking to change the release process, which will help kind of give us a little bit more time with items before they're brought to the game in the live aspect of it, which if that's the case, that's going to be really good for the game. I think that's going to be really good to see, like, hey, you know, you've been testing this out, but you don't have a whole lot of time to really give us feedback. And the feedback that you give us isn't essentially going to impact anything because we're already on to the next project, because this is so far along in the development cycle that it is near feature complete. We're just looking for data to make sure that it isn't going to crash the game before launch. Whereas based on what Drew says, it suggests that what they want to do is try to actually utilize the insiders in a way that will allow us to test out a feature, provide feedback, have discussion, and then give us an opportunity to have the game change as a result of the feedback, like proper testing, which if that's the case, that's fantastic. That's exactly what I think a lot of us hoped Insider would actually be, as opposed to what it currently is, which is us basically telling them this sucks, don't do this. Also, where's my doubloons? So we'll have to wait and see how this goes, what kind of changes they do. I hope they're vocal about this. I hope this is something they earnestly want to discuss with us in a way that allows us to have a say, or not like a say, but have us be more influential in some of the developmental changes that come with the game. And with that, if we're not going to be doing mysteries, and we're not going to be doing tall tales, we're not going to be doing adventures, maybe now's the time that we pull that NDA off the insiders, get more players involved with it, make it something that people can actually speak about, have the community discussion expand beyond just the forums, because I've seen other games do this. It does work. The people that don't want story generally don't keep up with the PTR. Content creators typically censor their content to divulge information that may be considered spoiler towards other parts of their content, or just in different videos altogether. I think it's a fair ask this late in the game that if you're looking to have better discussions and information around content that is being tested in the insiders, the discussion needs to leave the forums and actually open itself up to the wider community as a whole, because otherwise you start to get Falcor videos making songs about the grapple gun, because the discussion has to be had, it's out there, and it's one of those things in this situation where I think if you are looking to get feedback and not just people hating on it because it's the first thing that they've seen and it changes and people don't like change, the better discussions we can have around potential impacts to the meta or to the game in general on a broader scale will have a better zeitgeist reaction when things are exciting and they're looking forward to it, as opposed to this sucks, why are they doing this? They never actually listen to the community. Now, I'm not saying that lifting the NDA is going to fix those issues, but I think as a community or a content creator, I generally like to know if there's something that is coming out. Being more informed and informing others of that quicker is a good way to build adoption to the change in idea. It's much easier to get someone to do something if they're prepared for it earlier, because it's not something that's sprung on them. How many of you get frustrated when somebody changes the plans for the weekend for you? You got something you're planning to do. You're looking forward to it. You've gotten all this time set aside to do it, and somebody comes up with an emergency. There's a fire, or at work. You're working, you're doing something at work. Somebody comes up and drops a pile of paperwork, or invites you to an emergency Teams meeting, and now you have to put out a fire. Nobody likes that. But if you set aside time and you're like, hey, we're going to make this meeting, we're going to set it out for this time, here's the topics that we're going to be discussing, make sure you make time for it. Or, somebody lets you know, hey, I know you've got plans this weekend. If you can find an hour in your day to meet up with me to talk about this thing, or to go do this real quick trip to the store, we can get it knocked out very fast. People are a lot more amenable. I can't remember what the word is. They're a lot more likely to be okay with it the sooner they know about it, because the expectation is set and they have a chance to rebuttal without feeling pressured to take on the task or the change without any kind of feedback, especially if people are avoiding ways to invest more time into that, because some people just aren't going to have time, and that's fine. That's their choice. That's their priorities. But the folks that are straying away from insiders because of potential story spoilers, those are the folks that may want to jump into insiders, but they know that there's going to be spoilers in there, and unfortunately that's where you have to make that call for yourself as a person. But I do think that there are development studios out there that don't have an NDA on their content. They actually encourage people to go out and play it so that they can get that analytical data in there. I don't know if that's what Rare typically needs from the insiders. If it's not, then this is a moot point anyway. But me trying to stoke that fire once again, completely my, hill to die on. But one of those things again that I just feel like if we took away the NDA on insiders, there's at least more of a chance that there's going to be a discussion for players regarding stuff that's going on in the game. At which point, I think it's going to be a little bit healthier of a situation, especially during transitions between meta shifts in the game where people are not quite accustomed to what's going on. The more they hear about it, even if it changes, the less likely they're going to rail against it when it actually gets released, because they will have some prior knowledge to it. But that's just my opinion on this, as always. All right. I feel like I've covered the big things. I just want to dive through some of the other stuff that we saw in this video very quickly before, because obviously a lot of this stuff is going to be stuff that we're going to be seeing later on. So probably next week I'll be doing a deeper dive into this as they reveal more information about how things are going to work, and less of it's going to be left up to speculation. It looks as though they're coming out with a Midnight Prowler costume set and weapon set. It looks like the weapons are actually more like a ninjutsu style weapons. So you've got like an actual like proper katana, as well as I'm just blanking, like I can't think of it's not a kunai. It's a kunai, like a proper throwing knife that's like a kunai. Man, the anime in me is really like fielding a lot of those words right now. Looking at some of the other stuff, some ninja style cosmetics which look cool, love it. Sneaking, let me have it all. You're going to be able to lean against barrels potentially with an emote or just as a function. There's crouching and sneaking, which is going to be new to the game. Very interested to see how well that works, if it looks silly, if it works at all, how they're going to bind it to controllers. Like, how does that actually work with controllers? Like, are you going to, I don't know, have to, I don't even know. I don't like the idea of even having to think about what button I'm going to have to give up on my controller to be able to make this action work. Hell, they might just actually be getting rid of the pirate talk thing and throwing that on a on an actual arrow pad or something like that. That would be nice. You want to put it on a D-pad button? Fine. Give me the right bumper back. Let me have the right bumper as a way to crouch and sneak. Don't care. Like that seems like that would probably be a smarter way to go about it. Walking with a barrel hide emote potentially, or just walking in a barrel is cute. We know that there's going to be a chest hide emote, which looks fun as well too. There are new fabric wraps that are coming to the stores that are going to be different colors. There's also a lucky hand ship set, as well as a lucky hand weapon set. There's going to be the rusted skulls, clothing, makeup, accessories. I think those are all coming to the store. So plenty of cosmetics out there for you. Hopefully you're not like me in Pirate Poor, where I am sitting on a measly 1.488 or 1.4 million gold. No, I don't have like tons and tons of gold. I think community weekend I got over 5 million, and then I spent it all on other cosmetics and stuff like that. So all of you out there with 5+ million gold, probably not going to bat an eye at this. But for those of us who have under 5 million, which really, come on, it's crazy to think that that's like a low amount nowadays. I remember back in the day when we were saving up $1 million to be able to buy like the whole Athena ship set when it came, the whole Pirate Legend ship set when it came out. Like that was our goal. So outside of that, I think that's really it. I'm probably going to be going into more of this stuff as the week goes on and we get closer to the actual launch. Very interested to see the video that's probably going to be coming out on Tuesday, if I had to guess, that will actually showcase season 14's cosmetics for the Plunder Pass that they typically do, with deep dives on some of the tools and feature sets on Thursday, which will put that at, let me look at the calendar here. So Tuesday the 8th, probably going to see the cosmetic stuff. Thursday the 10th, probably going to be the deep dives, with maybe like another video on the 15th to be like a trailer video. I'm pretty sure that's most likely we'll probably have something like that. They might even do a Sea of Thieves recap on the pod, or like maybe do like a podcast. They haven't done a podcast in a while, so I feel like there's a podcast coming. But I feel for Drew Stevens. He's really kind of bore the brunt of a lot of the hot topics in the Sea News videos, which honestly go down really well. And he's a great guy, very private, which I respect. So nice to see like him taking on this, even if, you know, people like me are out there being horrible human beings and memeing him on social media because he's enjoyable and, you know, has a really cool lot of tattoos. I don't know where else to go with that. But I think that's going to do it as far as the news. So we'll find out more obviously as the coming weeks come by and we actually get closer and closer to the actual launch of season 14. All right, pirates, that's going to do it for this episode of the Keelhauled podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. And if you have, definitely feel free to take some time to join up on the Discord server for Keelhauled. The links are in the show notes. You can always message me on social media or on Discord. If you have any questions, concerns, comments about the show, feel free to like, subscribe, make any comments down in the YouTube videos. All of that is little effort as it sounds. Has bigger impact through the whole analytics and algorithm system. I am not big on YouTube because a lot of my content is long form. So any of the interactions that you do on there is very much appreciated. And I pay attention to all of it, even if I don't necessarily respond to all of it. So I do check my analytics. I do check my comments on there. I do appreciate the support that you provide, especially again to my gold hoarders out there. Really appreciate you guys coming through every month, and having that support always means the world to me. Next gold hoarder episode is going to be Saturday, October 26th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So just make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. November, maybe, let's see, November's going to be the 23rd, which that'll be right after they announce the winners for the Golden Scallywag contest. So we'll have to see how that goes. Just given that there are a lot of holidays in America that a lot of people tend to be gone for. So we'll kind of play that by ear. There was a suggestion for Friday night fishing night, which may or may not work out, may not happen, because honestly, I got my records done. And that just leaves, let's see, I have 3 of the rares wild splashes. I have 4 of the rare devilfishes. I've got battle gills. I need 4 more sand battle gills. I need 1 more flippin' shadow stormfish. And then I'm down to 8 treacherous plunder, which I'm not even going to lie. I've been fishing while recording. I've got 4 treacherous plunder sitting up in the fort that I'm at right now, just kind of hanging out, hiding, because I've got a rowboat and a wish, and I'm hoping that I can get these boys turned in. So I'm very close to getting the Legendary Hunter of Sea of Thieves title, because part of me, deep down inside, I feel like they're going to be doing a Hunter's Call refresh very soon. Potentially season 16 at the earliest. I would be really surprised if it's season 15, but part of me actually wants to think like, hey, if they're doing a refresh on Hunter's Call and they're going to reward people who got the Legendary Hunter of Sea of Thieves done prior to the update, I kind of want to be in that pool of people. I already got the overachiever sales. This would be the crazy enough to go fishing sales. So I'm real close. I literally have just a handful. I think it's like 14 total fish and literally 8 more treacherous plunder if I don't take the 4 that I have right now and turn those in. So here's hoping I can get that knocked out and start working towards going back to the Gold Hoarder raid voyages, because I think that's next on the docket. But I am slowly whittling away at all the things that I wanted to get done that I don't think I got done last year, and I wanted to check and see like how I was doing on my dreams this year. But it's getting closer. So don't know why that connected up to we were talking about Friday night fish nights. So if that's a thing, we can always try and set that up. I'm interested to get to hang out with folks. If we can get a couple galleons together or something and make that easier for a few hours, definitely looking to do something like that. Cool. I don't know about the watch parties, because streaming to Discord outside of YouTube is tricky. So a lot of the content that would get streamed would be stuff that I have to have access to. And honestly, I've got like a handful of streaming sites and that I've got, like Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, and I just resubscribed to Paramount Plus, because I really wanted to watch the Addams Family movies. And then I found out that they have Are You Afraid of the Dark from Nickelodeon on there, and I really wanted to watch that as well too. So I've got Paramount Plus, but those are like the 4, or no, Amazon Prime. I've got Amazon Prime, but Amazon Prime, I don't think about that as much. But I guess I've got 5 streaming services. So I don't know what piratey content is available through there, but the idea of watch parties popped back up from Regis. Regis really loves the watch parties. So if it works, if it's possible, cool. We'll try and work something out like that, but it's going to come down to time and access as with anything. Love to do it if I had infinite wealth and didn't have to work or worry about outside stuff kind of poking its head and being like, hey, you ever get your car fixed? So things like that. Outside of that, definitely let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns through social media, through the Discord. Best ways to get a hold of me is probably going to be through Discord, to be perfectly honest. So with that, pirates, thank you. I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.